Yeah, we're kind of pinching ourselves, actually. It has happened a lot quicker than we expected. And I'm just going to make sure that we are live. I think we are. That's looking chilly.
Looks like we're live now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
So how long has it been so far since you started?
So we started
10 years. Sorry, no.
It was about a month ago.
Okay. Nice. That's super
that was
impressive.
the actual
The
actual Donny project. So yeah, it started at whatever it was. I'd bought the thing for $3.99 like maybe 3 months ago or something. And then we're up to nearly $1,000, 936. So we've got lots of questions to ask about this, because this is like a complete like really, if you were to pick apart what this live stream is with you guys, at its bare essentials, it's a self-help therapy session. Let's be honest here. We're coming straight to the experts. But let's jump in then. I thought maybe we could do a bit of an intro. We're all familiar with you guys, but you're not with us. So we'll give you a bit of a brief background to what we're doing. But basically, we are just so pumped that you guys are here. Just so pumped to welcome the guys from the Comics and Crypto podcast. We have Spencer and Sean. So thanks so much for joining the thing to Donny today.
Thanks so much for having us. It was awesome.
It's kind of surreal as I was making my my ham and cheese toasty. I was thinking to myself,
is it as looks?
You have to keep your energy levels up because we've got Sean here. I'm like, I saw Sean do. I was my entree to Comics and Crypto was seeing you do a live stream, and I was like, Sean is the hype guy. Like, this is the guy I want to be on board with. I don't know how you kept that energy up for like an hour and a half. It was amazing. Anyway, this ham and cheese toasty will lead to me falling asleep. So that's not what we need right now.
Don't mind.
But look, like, I did not plan actually to be talking while eating this ham and cheese toasty. That was not a good move. But basically, like so many VeVe users, we've been using you guys for tips and tricks on collecting. Like, when you guys started, what, 3 months ago?
Yeah, just about.
We were, I was sort of at that point just going, what exactly am I doing here on a personal level? I've been collecting, well, I think it was around, 3 or 4 months ago, I might have started collecting. Saw what you guys were doing. And then when we started this Things to Donny project, we're just referring to you constantly. What should we do with our collection? What's our next move? Right now, we're nearly 1,000 gems. And, how do we grow that bad boy to a point where the Donny is in sight? So we're pumped that you're here to help. And hopefully as well, we can have time for a bit of a special announcement of what we're doing with the money once we sell Donny.
Oh, cool. I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah, it's big. It's big. But I mean, look, first off, why don't we just start? Let's just start like time-wise, local. Did you guys get a Spider-Man number 3?
I did. Yeah. I got lucky on a rebound.
Yeah. I got 2. I got 1 from the initial drop and one from a rebound.
Yeah, I was on like a couple devices, and I've been very, very lucky the past like couple of weeks.
It's been tough. Yeah.
How do you get these rebounds? Because I have I don't think I've ever got a rebound actually. I've managed to get 2 comic books in one hit, and that was the Marvel number 1 back when.
Oh, freezing up a little bit.
You know what?
He's done.
I've paused.
He's done. That's why you're not getting any drops, mate, because your internet is shocking.
It is. Yeah, Neo, you figured it out in one go, like when I couldn't get a drop.
You
Like
can't do it with bad internet, and can't do it on a Nokia 3210. So you just got to up.
Actually, Foster, I think Foster was telling me today. I don't know if you guys follow Foster's YouTube channel. It was actually really fun. We just did a live stream with him and Andre Jick and a couple of awesome guys from the community. And but he was telling me that he got a drop today off of, I think, cell phone service has like 3 megabyte download speed. Wow. So I don't know how this thing works.
It's all crapshoot.
How does it work? I don't know. We figured maybe the ping, that's like the most important thing, but I don't know anymore.
Who knows?
Yeah. But the rebounds, yeah.
Yeah, definitely go. I mean, the rebounds, you just keep smashing
by now.
I mean, we know people who've like gotten them like up to 20 minutes after the drop time. You just keep smashing, and eventually it works.
Yeah, our good friend Callie. Yeah, our friend Callie. I don't know if you guys heard that the 1901 Walt statue story. Did you guys ever?
I have. That's an amazing story.
So Callie, so we just came back from LA Comic Con with an awesome group of people, and Callie was there too, and she got my
Comic Con metaverse. They were doing a whole NFT thing at the Comic Con this year, which I was involved with. This was cool. Yeah.
But she got a rebound on 8 minutes, 13 minutes, and 24 minutes. So keep trying. Yeah, if that buy now button's still there, there's probably still comics available, and people are fighting for it. So yeah, especially on the big ones too. Like today was a pretty big one.
Is that if you? Because I've seen it there, and then I've given up in disgust after.
I've been there too. I was there today.
Same. Yeah, but if you hit the screen, then it's too late. Yeah, you got to stay on the screen.
You got to stay on the screen.
You got to stay on the screen. Okay.
So you keep trying as long as it says buy now. Just keep trying.
Is the theory because some people get to the buy screen and they either don't have enough gems or they stuff up the security thing and then it just times them out and then you sort of step up into the next in queue? Is that how
it goes like back into like the buying circulation? Yeah, back into the pool. Yeah.
But do you think there's some truth to the theory as well that if you're a new user, they would give you a better chance of getting a collectible on a drop? Because you don't reckon?
No.
I don't think so.
It's all randomized.
I just don't think they would do that.
Yeah.
I just like I don't know. I value their integrity and everything they've done so far, and I don't see them doing that.
I've heard people say that, or like they give advantage like influencers and stuff. I'm like, dude, I don't get shit.
I
just feel like if you just downloaded it right and you were looking at secondary market prices, you'd be like, this thing's expensive. Like I want to do a drop, and you didn't get one for the first few drops, you'd probably just walk away. So that was my thinking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
I'm sure that happens to a lot of people.
A ton of people. Yeah. Actually. Yeah. So a good friend of Andrew DeFelice, he has his own YouTube channel as well. Amazing guy. And he told a great story. I've shared this video so many times with people, but a friend of his was like 0 for 15, was about to give up, and is on the Daredevil drop, and he took find one more, and he ended up getting it, and he got a secret rare of Daredevil, and he still has to this day. But it only takes one. Like you could be 0 for 20 or 0 for 100, and you just get one amazing drop, and it's sometimes life changing.
Yeah.
Like if you like the Walt Disney statue, or even like the James Bond NFT ticket, if you got one of those, I mean, like, yeah.
One of my friends got the Walt statue, and one of his friends as well got the Walt statue on their first drops,
which was the first drop. So it doesn't really help our theory here, but like,
that's crazy. I heard you tell that story.
I'm sitting right next to him. Yeah, it was so great. My buddy Oscar got one. We're sitting behind. We pulled over. We're going to Designer Con, which was amazing, and we pulled over at a Chevron gas station. He was getting like an 800 megabyte download speed on a cell phone service. And we pull over, we hop up in the trunk, and we're smashing buttons. And I look over and I didn't get shit. And I look over and I see it pop up, the buy now window pop up. And he's like, "Yep, got one. This is easy. This is the easiest thing ever."
I gotta say, you sound like you were happy for him at the time. The way that you told that story, but there's a moment in like I think it's our first or maybe our second episode where Neo had gone for, I think it was your first drop, and I'd missed out. I was already, it was second. Okay, his first, he got like, what was it? A rare. It was an ultra rare, and I was already like up to missing 5 in a row. And I'm now like up to about 15 or something crazy. And if you play the video in slow motion, you see the look of absolute disgust on my face. Like it's with the words. It's with the words like me going, "Yeah, good on you.
Only getting harder.
Yeah.
Try and be a good friend. Try and be a good friend. But so we're kind of at this point of like we've had some really good breaks along the way with this project so far, and you know, for anyone who's watching who isn't quite across it, our plan is we start with the cheapest thing, which is the thing on the VeVe app, which we got for $3.99, and buy and sell, flip all the way to a Donny, and which is the most expensive thing, which has been around sort of 100 grand. And we've got some really good breaks along the way. We actually had a live stream a couple of weeks ago, and there was a viewer who came up with a really cool strategy to put us into a position where we could get 60 gems to do the Disney drop, and that really like set us up along the way. But to sort of like, we're at this point now where we're at about nearly 1,000 gems, so we've got a little bit to play with, but we need the experts here, and you guys are the experts. So if you had 1,000 gems or 936, what would you do? And including, I can tell you as well what the portfolio is at as well. Like most of them are actually, we're holding stuff. We've got 33 gems spare, but everything else is being held.
Gotcha. So I guess what is in the portfolio right now?
Shall we do it? Okay, let's get the Heath up. We've got we call our ledger Heath.
I'm curious about strategies of all line.
Yeah.
The role of the all-in guy, you're definitely gonna diversify, I feel like.
Yeah. Spray and pray, baby. Spray and pray.
Yeah.
Spray and pray. Love that.
Spray and pray.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very appropriate.
Really ticket items, I think, is to do very well in the short term.
Yeah.
And long term.
Which was that?
We're just talking amongst ourselves to figure
Sorry.
out the best strategy. I'm curious if our strategies would align. We're both going to give our own opinions.
Yeah.
I was just curious if he has the same idea as I do, because I already have exactly what I would do in mind.
I'm thinking about it.
Well, while I search frantically for where I put Heath, you guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to frantically find Heath because I lost it.
I have a question for you guys. Am I muted? I hope not.
Yeah, you go.
No.
Oh, good. Okay,
Basic
good.
ringing.
Yeah. That's fine. It's all good. I'm just going to close my laptop and go.
700, they do 700 to.
So is it who's wearing the VeVe t-shirt? Is that you, Sean?
Sean, yeah.
Sean, yeah. So first of all, where did you get that VeVe t-shirt?
We got at Designer Con.
Oh, I love it. It's really good.
But there's a few places you can definitely buy some great merch.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to buy it from Cavell Anderson's channel. Let's just put it that way. So I have a question for you guys. You're like, how early do you think we are to the digitization, for lack of a better term, of collectibles, and the thing that you guys resonate with best, comics? Like, how early are we in that moment right now?
I think we both think very, very early. I mean, comics especially, it only started like 3 months ago. So
like
So there were no NFT comics before that?
there have been a couple examples, but nothing like on a wide scale, like Marvel or DC or a big publisher doing them. It's been more like indie comics. Yeah.
Like, we're not even
And
at
do
the
you-
first trimester.
Yeah.
And do you see it eating the entire market, like the physical comic book market?
No, we think they complement each other. I don't think one is going to cannibalize like one or the other. Yeah.
I've had just as many people contact us about physical comics than digital, and the world of collecting is only expanding.
Mhm.
It's not going in one direction or the other. I mean, I've seen it hands on with hundreds of people. It's crazy at this point.
Yeah.
People are
And do you
pumped.
see, this might be something you've spoken about in your YouTube videos. I think you have already, but I'm interested to like how it's going to be priced in the future. Will you look at a Marvel #1,
Yeah.
in 10 years and go, a Marvel #1 NFT is also $1 million because they're so hard to come by? There were
Yeah,
only
they're
50,000
past
there.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's that for a physical comic. There's only on CGC is the company that it's the most famous company that grades these comic books, right? So it's CGC, and on their census, there's only 63 physical copies in existence of Marvel Comics #1. So it's incredibly scarce. But it was really shocking actually when they first dropped that comic as the first ever, because I was curious. Like I thought for sure it was gonna be Fantastic Four #1, but they decided to drop Marvel Comics #1. But that comics only has historical value. It doesn't have a lot of pop culture value, right? Like majority of collectors don't even know what Marvel Comics #1 is.
Yeah,
you know?
I had never heard of it before.
Yeah, I mean Spencer was, but it's very valuable amongst a lot of collectors, and Fantastic Four #1 is also very valuable, but it's the first ever Marvel comic. So like Marvel Comics #1 was under the company Timely Comics, which eventually became Marvel Comics. And that was the first comic to represent that. Officially, Marvel Comics that we know today is Fantastic Four #1. And that was the first collaboration between Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. And it's the first appearance of the Fantastic Four. So that's why it's surrounded pop culture history. But what I soon realized, I mean, they had an epiphany like maybe a week ago about this. Marvel Comics #1 is now, because it's the first ever NFT comic book dropped by Marvel, it is now cemented in pop culture history. I mean, if you look, for example, you look at the million users that are on VeVe right now, right? I can almost guarantee you less than 1% knew what Marvel Comics #1 was before joining the app. But I can almost guarantee you now 99% of those million active users not only know what Marvel Comics 1 is, but they know it's worth a lot of money and has tremendous value.
It's so interesting because like, Matt, for example, there's been a running joke within our.
Oh no.
Have you lost me?
You're back.
You lose me again?
No, James. You got to play. We're back. Okay.
And that was the funniest joke I ever told. You just missed the first gag ever.
That's awesome.
So we have this running joke where no matter what the conversation is, Matt brings it back to his strategy of holding Marvel Comics #1. And this went back maybe like to the start of the project. Basically, Matt had started hoovering them up, all the commons, and it's funny. It was a clever thing to do, but it's funny as well because Matt, like me, couldn't give a shit about these, 2-3 months ago. Yeah. It wasn't really on our radar at all, and Neo has been gunning for us to care about them for years.
You did it, Neo. You finally did it.
Yeah, it's such a weird personality trait in both James and Matt to see for many years of knowing them just being like, don't talk to me about comic books or collectibles. You're a child. And now they know.
Neil, what's your background in collecting?
It's not great. It's I grew up just really fascinated with comic books. So you read, like when I was younger, the Garfield comic strips in the newspaper, or Tintin, Asterix and Obelix, all that stuff. And then it kind of opened up into Archie comics, mainly Sonic the Hedgehog, because I was a big Sega guy when I was younger.
Whoa.
And that kind of then translated to Marvel and X-Men and all that stuff. And it's it has that addiction, the collecting sort of element, because it's also then gone out to basketball cards, admittedly Magic the Gathering cards, that type of stuff. So
really bad.
That's
Pokemon
really
cards
great.
in here?
Huge.
I remember we in high, and this is such a tangent, but in high school, Pokemon cards were huge. And do you remember them being circulated in our year level, and we would used to sell them to the kids in the year levels below?
I don't remember that.
I remember doing that.
No, neither do I. It's fine.
You were running a black market.
That's why Neo owns all this property around Melbourne.
Nice.
So I mean, we've got a bit of a clue about what led you guys basically into where you are now. You know, we sort of picked up from the podcast about your interests and stuff, but what kind of actually led you, Sean and Spencer, to start the Comics and Crypto podcast itself?
Yeah. So I met Spencer maybe about 5 years ago, backpacking in Europe. Spencer's from the East Coast. He's from New York.
No, I live in New York now.
You're from Philadelphia.
I'm from Philly.
Yeah.
Lived in Boston. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been all over the place, but yeah.
We met backpacking in Europe, and we just stayed close friends. And he has incredible background in cryptocurrency, and then I have a background in comics, and we started talking a little bit more and more, especially after he got me to invest in Engine Coin. I don't know if you guys know much about Engine. It's a really cool project, and when it took off in March, I was like, oh shit, okay, Spencer, hey, that thing you maybe invested in, thank you.
Yeah.
So like, what else we got? What else is going on here?
Yeah.
And then I started telling him more about comic books, the things that I because I love investing in comic books.
Yeah. So I didn't buy my first comic book until it was like April 1st. So I'm relatively new to like physical comic book collecting. And then, but over the summer we went on a road trip to Yosemite and to Yellowstone. And we just like decided on the road trip that we're going to do this thing with Kevin. Yeah. Kevin was also on the road trip with us.
I've known Kevin for over 10 years because we're both filmmakers. So we both worked together for a long, long time. And Kevin doesn't really know much about the space at all. And I thought it'd be hilarious. We all like, I'd be hilarious. You know, crypto, I know comics, and Kevin doesn't know shit. So he can moderate and bring a new fresh perspective in the space. So.
Yeah.
The four of us really relate to Kevin.
Awesome.
And now Joe has a hard out in about 5 minutes. We're going to stick around, absolutely. But I thought, Joe, this is your moment. So what was that really defamatory thing that you're going to say to Sean and Spencer?
No, I made that mistake on the last live broadcast where I thought it was actually a recording that James would go and edit afterwards, and so said some really stupid stuff. So if you ever wanted to blackmail me, just get on YouTube and have a look at some of the older episodes.
Which episode was that?
No, but I've come to this situation pretty late as well, and with a healthy dose of skepticism around the entire community, really. And that's because some of the functionality that VeVe has been promising hasn't really come through. So I guess my question to you is, at what point do the detractors start to kind of crowd out the proponents of this experiment? If there was no additional functionality that has been promised that is delivered, at what point in 2022 does things start to go over the hill? And then I guess the second part of that is, fast forward 10 years time, are there any weaknesses in VeVe now that you could see competitors exploiting, and suddenly we're all all of the collectors are actually working in a different platform? It's a bit of a double barrel.
Yeah, I would say the first thing that when it comes to competitors, I mean, as far as functionality in the metaverse, that's still TBD, right?
Yeah.
But the advantage that they have is the partnerships,
the
IP, right? I mean, like they have some of the biggest companies in the world. They have Marvel, Disney, Star Wars, Simpsons, or Fox. They
Universal,
have DC, Universal. I mean, they have all these companies, and no one else can use that IP except for them, right? So that's a massive advantage. But there'll definitely be other metaverses as well. Spencer fully believes in that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think nothing wrong with having multiple metaverses, and I think just like we have different social media platforms, some people like to hang out on Twitter, some people on Discord. People are going to like to hang out in Decentraland or the Sandbox or the VeVeverse, or it's really just like personal preference where your friends hang out.
Having healthy, good competition only makes your product better.
Yeah.
So you need to have good competition.
Yeah, I think
to make a better product.
Yeah, I think especially in the crypto space, people compete, but it's really as many. It's still so early and still so small, like relatively speaking, compared to just like the grand scale of the world and where things can go, that yeah, it's just any competition and really anybody working and building in the space, I think is a good thing.
I mean, like even just talking to people. Well, what have you done lately? I'm working on this podcast about NFTs. Like, what's an NFT? And I keep forgetting. Like, I'm so engulfed in this world, right? I'm so surrounded by it every day that I think this is the norm now. So everyone knows about the space, and no one does. Still to this point, it's still so new. It's crazy. But to go to the other point about VeVe has talked about a lot of things that and brought up a lot of deadlines they were hoping to fulfill. But I look at it this way, right? When you, as a filmmaker, when you are working on something in post-production, right, you want to make sure that you have an edit locked, and then you can work on this, like sound design, color correction, visual effects. But you don't want to start working on other things until the first part's already finished. But sometimes it's out of your control because you have the certain partnerships that fell behind, or people that you're working with, and you can't throw them under the bus, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes a lot of things are out of their control. And
for like Immutable X, for example, like I from what I've heard, at least a lot of it is more on the Immutable X side of things, which is why they haven't been able to get that rolled out.
Right.
Yeah. There's a lot of things going on behind the curtains, guys, that they just are not bringing up, and it's just there's no reason to do that.
Yeah.
But I will say that this project, I mean, I've never seen a project leadership so in sync with their community. I mean, they've made split-second decisions on just because the community voices their concern about something, right? That's happened multiple times, and no project has ever done that.
I've never seen in any other NFT project like on that scale. Never.
I don't know if you guys were involved in. I think it was. I don't know what it was.
I have to duck off now, guys. Sorry. Lovely to meet you.
It's up anytime, dude.
Thanks for helping us out on this project.
Oh yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah.
There was a first appearance of the Mighties, right, with Captain America statues. I don't know if you guys were around then, but soon afterwards they released another statue of Captain America, and they're giving it a first appearance stamp, right? But that was a problem because they already gave that to the other Captain America and the Mighties. So the whole community was like, "WTF, guys? Like, what's going on?"
Yeah.
I spent a ton of money on these Mighties and little mints, and
we bought like 20 of them each.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, I mean, I didn't want to. Yeah, I was personally very upset, to be honest, because it would have destroyed the value of the Mighties. And that's the whole point, right? First appearance is the first time ever. But the night before the drop, and I didn't think they were going to do this, but they took away the FA stamp. They took it away.
Yeah, made it a first edition instead.
And ultimately, I don't know whose decision it was. If it was Marvel understanding, like, okay, understanding that everyone's concerned, but they did it, and they did it. They made a swift decision because of the community's voice, and that's massive, and that's why this project is going to be so successful.
Has it made you guys want to buy OMI token? Oh, sorry, Pato.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're both heavily invested in
big
for sure.
investors as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I found out about VeVe, because I started buying OMI tokens back in March, back when it was high. The price was higher than it is now. And then have been averaging in ever since. And then I've gotten into VeVe just as a bit of fun, like with a few $100s to start, and then it's kind of just been, it's I'm very addicted to it. So anyway,
it's tough to figure out what's the best warranty, because you see first appearances of cool characters, but then you guys, I think OMI's going to hit X amount one day, so it's like you're trying to figure out which one's gonna.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I personally think the collectibles are going to hold their value better. Like, I don't think their price floors on those are going to dump as much as like OMI token would in the event of a huge bear market. So that's why at least I focus more on the collectible side of things than the OMI side of things. Just like generally speaking, like comic books, like physical comic books, they've traditionally held up a lot better during recessions than most other asset classes. So collectibles in general, I think, will hold their value better. So I've been focusing more on that end.
And we are massive believers in VeVe and what they're doing, and they're going. I personally think they're going to be one of the most successful NFT projects ever, just based on what they're doing right now. But at the end of the day, if anything did happen to VeVe, those collectibles will still be alive on the blockchain, right? So
right now though, if something happened to VeVe and the whole company shut down, we'd all be screwed and we'd probably lose everything. It's all, But once it moves to Immutable X in hopefully a few weeks or whenever that happens, then everything will be in your wallets. You'll have custody of it. You'll have full control, which means more risk, right? Because you're managing a blockchain wallet and you have to deal with your private keys and things like that. But but you actually have full control of them. So if VeVe and Ecomi were to disappear like 2 days after the Immutable X launch, you'd still have them and you'd still be able to do what you want with them.
Yeah, and that's a big reason why they haven't updated a lot of the app, right? They've made definitely some strides lately, but they haven't fully made massive updates because of they haven't migrated fully to UX. And that goes back to my analogy earlier about film production, right? You don't want to start working on other things when you're just going to scrap it.
Yeah,
So
same, and that's like for exchange listings as well. That's why we haven't seen massive exchange listings for OMI on like Binance or Coinbase or big exchanges like that. It's because there's no point in them doing all this work to get listed on exchanges if they're just going to have to do a token swap and move over to a whole new blockchain. So it's basically you just get one thing out of the way first, and that opens the door for the other things to happen.
The things that we're upset about right now
Yeah.
are such small details in the grand scheme of
Yeah.
things, guys. Like it's so minuscule. Like just remember, if you're upset about something or people are saying things that are creating FUD, just remember Disney literally gave them their entire IP. Disney gave them Star Wars, they gave them Marvel, they gave them all the Disney characters, they gave them Walt Disney. Like that is, I can't emphasize how sensitive they are over those characters and over Walt.
Yeah.
They handed all it to VeVe.
And Marvel too. It's the same deal. Yeah.
That's crazy, guys. It's insane.
Yeah.
People really understand the significance of that.
Mm.
It's the most compelling sort of argument for me as well. I think in terms of a risk-averse company, and when you're dealing with something as fragile and powerful as your reputation, I've had some discussions with some people who say, well, it's not going to really matter financially that much if VeVe falls on its face, like to Disney, it's not going to matter to them financially. But I'm like, no, it matters to them much more than financially. It matters to them reputationally.
Exactly. Yeah. And these are the first ever of the NFTs that they've ever released. It's a huge deal. They know that it's going to be significantly valuable long term, and they want to make sure that these collectibles are valuable. Why? Because they're getting 6%, up to 5%. I'm not sure exactly the small details, but they would put 3.5 would be. They're getting 6% commission off every sale, right? So they want to make sure that these collectibles are as valuable as possible. And also, people are saying, well, Spider-Man, they're talking about the AMC. I mean, you heard about the AMC NFTs that were released with Spider-Man. People are saying, well, that's going to be the first on Ethereum, so that's the first ever Spider-Man. Like, no.
Well, it's on wax. But
it's on wax. On wax, we'll save it. Yeah, right. But guys, at the end of the day, that's just more exposure. Marvel is giving them this Epis stamp. So it's all that matters is what's written on the blockchain.
Yeah. It's
Everything
in the metadata,
else,
if it says first appearance, it's the first appearance.
Everything else is speculative.
I feel like you go, Neo.
I was going to say on that point, the that fear of the AMC releasing, I think what it was 80,000 Spider-Man NFTs, and people thinking, it's going to devalue the ones that are on the VeVe platform. But it's kind of like you don't know what those NFTs look like. They could be 2D, that you don't know if they're 3D, and you can put them in AR. But it's also just that in mass production, surely they won't hold that much value in comparison to the other Spider-Man NFTs in circulation as well. So
even then, I hope they're worth a lot because it just creates more exposure for the Spider-Man.
Yeah,
there's plenty to go around, guys. Like, I want those to be valuable because people realize, holy shit, people got those for free. Like, it's exciting. So I hope those sell for a lot of money.
And if
I'm not even worried about competition.
If anything, I think that the more Spider-Man NFTs there are in general, it'll just increase the value of the first appearance Spider-Man's on VeVe.
Exactly.
So
I feel like with this project, and I know, Pato, you want to get to Heath in a second, sorry. But the thing that, I've invested in other crypto projects before, and this is the only one that I've never sold, and I've always just felt like whenever there's negative price action, I just always feel so confident about the investment, even if it's got a 5-year time horizon. Like, it feels like such a sleeping giant to me, and everyone that I talk to that gets it, feels that way. And I don't know whether the current price is a result of liquidity, not enough exchanges, whatever. That seems to be a big part of it in my mind. But
I think so too.
It just seems to be such a solid bet, over the next 10 years for me. Like, just I just can't really see it not working, which is maybe problematic, which is why we need Joe, actually.
That's right. Joe keeps us so grounded.
Joe talks about rugs a lot.
That's right. He told us he wants a rug for Christmas, so that's what we're going to do.
I feel like I'm like that for Sean sometimes.
Yeah.
Sean's just like, whoa, and I'm like, come on, buddy. Come on.
Twice today.
Yeah.
So before we jump into some specifics, like we'd love to do like some short fire. Here's the comic, here's the collectible.
Oh yeah.
Tell us what's it worth? Do we hold? Do we sell? Etc. Etc.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I think before we jump into that, let's make our announcement. So to start with, when we started this project about a month ago, the plan was I had overcapitalized in VeVe collectibles. And I needed a way out. Help me. And the plan was, if these guys gave me a hand, we'd flip to Donny and then split 4 ways. And after doing it for a little bit, we started to think, well, like, we don't really need the money. Like, there's people who need it more. And if we can do something that helps people, and we have some fun along the way with the VeVe community, let's do that. So we've decided that we're going to donate the proceeds entirely to charity, and we're splitting it half between a local charity in Melbourne and half between an international charity. So we thought today we'll announce the international charity, which is Oxfam, and we're going to be really excited to have some people on from Oxfam to tell us a little bit about what they're doing. They're actually doing some work in blockchain as well, which is pretty cool. And then the local charity we'll announce at a later date as well. So it's kind of a nice way to sort of round out the year and hopefully move into next year. Looking ahead and kind of going, how comes this for good? So now into specifics. Let's look at the Heath. Okay. So. Should I share it? I've got so many screens open. Like, I feel like sharing this would be way too stressful.
I just want to say, real quick, guys, that's so amazing. That's so incredible, and you're gonna get so many people behind this project because of your generosity. Like, it's gonna be an exciting journey for you guys, and I feel blessed to be a part of it. So, awesome.
Thanks. Thank you. And like we're pumped to have you guys on, just full stop. I mean, this is a real buzz. I've even stopped eating my ham and cheese toast. It's very surreal having you guys here. So if we look at what we're currently holding, at the moment we have a neon Labbit, mint number 596, which we bought for 380 gems, and it's now down at 328. I personally reckon they're undervalued, but what do I know? The next we have is Steve Rogers Captain America, which we got for 32-ish, and then our comics are Amazing Spider-Man 14, which we got on a drop, a common. Fantastic Four, number 5, common. And that one is sub 10,000. And then, which, by the way, I have a lot of questions to ask you about. In fact, Fantastic Four, number 5. Oh, man, yeah. Lots to talk to you about that. It's like this entire interview is just going to be signposting to conversation we'll never get to. And then me like bloody cocking it up, thinking that I was signed into my personal account when I was actually signed into the Donny account. I used 390 gems to buy a secret rare.
Yeah. Sure.
Pilfering. Stealing Oxfam's money. I bought a secret rare Uncanny X-Men 129 for 390 gems, and in retrospect, I want you to just say, James, you didn't make a bad mistake.
Well, I will say that the most exciting, the one thing that's really exciting about the independent artists NFTs is that those will be the first allowed off VeVe to sell on Immutable X or OpenSea. Yeah. So there could be some serious opportunity there. The ones I'm really excited about. I don't know if Lucky's going to be the golden. Oh, was it Lucky? Yeah, Lucky is going to be allowed off because it's a collaboration with Toy Toyco, and they're a bigger corporation. It's not just independent, but the Labracorn I think will do very, very well on OpenSea. Mm-hmm. And I also am really into the Neon. lab it as well.
Yeah.
So I think those are gonna do well on OpenSea. Yeah.
Well,
so
that's it for me. Thanks for joining the thing to Donny on being great. Spencer and Sean, have a lovely day.
Bye, James. But yeah, I definitely think it's you don't want to sell at a loss, ever sell at a loss, right?
Sometimes if you're going to make a better trade,
if you have a better
yeah,
opportunity,
if you have a better opportunity,
okay.
yeah, I would say that.
Yeah. That's just my heart talking.
Yeah.
Like,
It just hurts to sell at a loss.
it hurts to sell
but
at a loss, yeah. But if there's better opportunity, yeah.
I mean, like I potentially trying to trade that neon for a Labracorn, like that would be a good trade if you could make that happen, even if at a small loss.
Yeah,
like I think that would be worth it long term.
That's a very, very good point.
It's a super popular one. So
Yeah.
it's really interesting because it has a higher edition count because it's the comet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the comet. So it's like a higher edition count than all of them, but it's worth more than the uncommon one.
It's
I
worth-
think
it's worth-
maybe even the rare too, right?
It has twice the amount of additions as the rare, yet it's worth twice as much
There you
because
go.
of supply and demand.
It's just people love it.
Is it because it's animated? Is like
Yeah.
I mean I see the appeal of it. I think it is like
Yeah.
cool.
Second
That's
people,
about it.
yeah, and I think OpenSea is going to go crazy over it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay, I like that. I
So-
like that. Okay.
that's my favorite. That's my favorite one by far out of
Mhm.
the entire
Oh,
collection.
yeah, the whole set. Yeah,
and I'm a huge
absolutely.
fan of the Shining. I went for the Red Rum. And I like the Labracorn. It was really cool, but I'm like, nah, I'm looking for Red Rum.
Yeah.
And I got it, and I was super pumped. And I found I was animated, like, good dude.
Red Rum.
At one point, it was like 600 gems or 700 gems at one point.
Yeah.
It's gonna dip since then, so that works out well.
Yeah. So I would say
Yeah.
if you like them in general, like that set, like I think that would be a cool little trade to try to do.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's sick. Okay, so and we are working. The thing that makes this then a bit different to buying and selling for your own purposes is because, like, we want to get to the Donny as quick as possible.
Mhm.
So there is that matter of urgency. Like, you know, my personal collection, I'm happy to sit on for years. But then some things like, do you sell it at a slight loss to just keep the momentum going and build quickly?
Mhm.
The Fantastic Four number 5, I thought was an interesting one. And do you know the thing that first put it into my mind to contact you guys was actually me again, this is what I said. This is like a personal therapy session because I'm like, I think that this is people are sleeping on this. Like,
Yeah.
it dropped and no one was buying the commons or like anything, and so I bought like 8 commons. I think 6 or 8 uncommons and then 4 rares.
Nice.
And because I was like comparing what you guys are saying about it to what Sleep in Comics was as well. And I was like, this just doesn't really make sense to me why it's so low. And then it exploded over the last maybe 3 days or so. Do you think there's room to grow there? Is that one that you'd hold if you were in our scenario, or what would you do?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, big shout out to Sleepin'. He's an amazing
Mhm.
guy. I talk to him a lot, almost every day, actually.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's an amazing
Love that
guy. Such an amazing guy. He's such great insight on the space, and I respect everything. He's just a wonderful guy.
Yeah, we were on the stream with him earlier as well.
Yeah. So big shout to And
Cool.
yeah, we've had conversations about the value of that comic, and he's incredibly high on it as well. And for me, like even just aside from these NFTs, just looking at the physical rankings for comic books for Marvel, that to me is for me personally, it's number 11 on my list of all time for most valuable physical comic books, right? And we're strong believers that the physical value is going to translate to the digital as well. I think there's going to be certain times we're going to see the digital take over, and we've already seen it for the market caps alone. We've seen it with Avengers 8. The Avengers 8 market cap for the digital NFTs have already passed the physical.
Basically adjusted what's on the CGC census. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's a bit conservative.
Yeah.
But Fantastic Four 5, yeah. I mean, you've less than 2,000 total editions in the CGC census. There's no 9.8s in existence, so it's incredibly scarce. And a 9.6, there's only, I think, 2 or 3. And it's estimated that they would sell for about $500,000, but I think they'll probably go for $1 million if it ever sells. Because that's the thing about these physical comic books. There's so few of them, right? Especially these big ones, the Silver Age Keys and Grail books. There's so few of them, and we don't see very, very often. We see big sales for the highest grades because there's so survive Like for Amazing Spider-Man #1, right? There's only one 9.8 in existence. There's only one. Yeah, and so Fantastic Four #1. There's only 3 9.6s. Not even a 9.8 grade in existence. And they're saying that comic, if that sold, one of the 9.6s, it could sell for over $6 million. And I think it's very. I think that's probably conservative too, to be honest. Yeah, it's crazy.
How do you compare those two streams then of collectibles on VeVe? Because if you know for certain, that comic book collectors are so nuts, like they will pay serious money to get a comic. Is it like that with physical collectibles and statues and that kind of thing?
Yeah, the black and white series is very, very popular. And there's a really good friend of the podcast, Dan Schabel. It's a big shout out to Dan. And he's a big collector of the black and white series. And he talks about that very often. The digital NFTs are worth way more, specifically because they're NFTs, but but these are labeled as first appearance. Some of them are labeled as first appearances, right? So like Harley Quinn, Penguin, Todd McFarlane Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the first time we've ever seen those characters in digital format, and that is really significant for collectors. I mean, specifically that one I think is going to be. I mean, it has everything going for it. It's the first ever DC drop. It's the first appearance of Batman. It's apparently the first ever NFT minted by VeVe, and it's also it's credited by an amazing artist. I mean, Todd McFarlane is probably top 5, if not top 3 artists of all time.
Crazy.
So yeah, that's all in one. You have all in one NFT, right? So and Batman is huge. I mean, his comic book Batman #1 as a 9.4 sold over the summer for $1.5 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's not even his first appearance. That's just his first issue of his series. It's the first appearance of Joker and Catwoman, but that's not even his first appearance. That belongs to Detective Comics 27, I think. That was in 30.
That's people who are using like cash.
Yes, exactly. And
And
that's exactly it. People are using cash, and that's why I firmly believe if people who have the opportunity to buy crypto with these physical comic books, it's going to go up even more.
Yeah.
Crazy. So then, okay, so this takes us to Uncanny X-Men 129. Have I ruined our entire project here by buying that?
Well, which one did you get?
The secret
Secret
rare.
rare. For 300.
Is it a significant mint number?
No. it's 9,000 and something.
9,000 something?
Yeah.
That's actually. How many editions is that one? 60,000?
What did you buy it for? Look at that.
390.
Yeah, it's cheap.
It was 30,000 editions. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's top 1/3.
So let's recap. You bought it for how much, and then
So bought it for 390.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, 390 for a secret rare is very inexpensive, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's really inexpensive.
Do you know where the floor is right now?
It's got to be above that, right?
Last time I checked, it was 410.
They've dipped back down again though. The comics, they've in general.
Yeah, I mean, I would say
So-
if you've made a profit on that one, it might be worth selling it to reinvest in other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long term, it's going to do just fine. I mean, the physical comic is 9.8. It's worth around $7,000 or $8,000.
Yeah, but if you're trying to move quickly, I don't think
And
that's
Yeah,
where you
but
wanna be.
it's a long term hold for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a quick flip, it's not the right.
So sit yourselves in our shoes. If we're to free up, okay, so we roughly trade the bit for a lab of corn. We sell a couple of other things, including this secret rare. So we'd be up to maybe about 600 or 700 gems. What would you do, oh oracles, with those 700 gems?
So for 700 gems, what we get?
Yeah, for a flip.
It's tough because I'm trying to gauge like what could potentially go up in the short term.
Actually, this is what you guys should probably do. Actually, are you familiar with cherry charts?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, are you familiar? Okay,
Yeah.
so we have a friend, Brendan Cherry. He set up this company called Cherry Charts, which basically it's kind of like a data analytics platform for VeVe collectibles. So he tracks the collectibles prices over time. Has a really cool, just like things that you can do to look at different figures. But yeah, so you can see that they're called like the cherry picks. So you can see what collectibles have gone down, over a certain period of time. So like in the last 7 days, the top 5 collectibles that have gone down. So maybe one of them has gone down 30% in the past 7 days. But there's no real reason for it that you can find out. So that might be a good opportunity for you to buy, the expectation that it'll go back up.
And he has weekly winners and losers in both for the physical, for the NFT comic books and the collectibles, as well.
Yeah.
Brandon's an amazing guy, by the way. He's such a cool dude, and this system that he's creating is absolutely incredible. It's a game changer for sure.
Yeah.
And that would be incredibly beneficial for your guys' journey. In fact, I definitely want to get you guys in touch.
Yeah, we'll definitely put you in touch with them.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure he'd love to, especially with the charity aspect. I'm sure he'd love to support the project.
Oh, yeah,
and give you guys a license. Yeah,
definitely.
Well, we'd love that. Thank you. That would be great. And we can chuck a link as well in the notes too. Okay. Well, that's a good tip. Do you think that the uncommons are undervalued? Just generally across the board?
It depends on the comic book, right?
Yeah.
It really comes down to the comic book. What is the comic book we're talking about? You've seen like for a lot of the Silver Age keys in the Grail books, they've shot up exponentially. I mean, you look at like Fantastic Four 5, Amazing Spider-Man 1, Fantastic Marvel Comics 1. Shoot, that's a 204 now for a common. That's crazy. That's wild, man. You guys remember when we get 15 on a drop? You remember those days?
Yeah. And then with 3 devices,
Good old days.
17 comic books in one drop.
I was like, oh man, $15 for this comic? No.
Maybe a better one.
Yeah.
So true.
Maybe a better question is like, what do you guys feel, just reeling off the top of your heads, not having access to Cherry Charts or Komi Wiki? Like, what feels super undervalued, where people haven't made the connection like that, sort of like you did with the Todd before? Like, it's the first this, it's that. Like, where are those moments now in VeVe, in your opinion?
I mean, it's at the moment it's a little bit out of your price range, but one that I think was really cool is the Mr. Cartoon, that Cat Bronson. So I don't know if you've seen that one. That was one of the decon drops, but so Mr. Cartoon is one of the biggest tattoo artists in the world. So he's known for basically doing every major celebrity out there. Athletes,
Snoop Dogg, Kobe Bryant, Eminem. I mean, it goes on and on and on.
Yeah, all these crazy people. Supposedly charges like $50,000 for a tattoo. But he's like kind of like cemented in pop culture history, and especially in the kind of like the whole LA hip hop scene. So he's super significant, and there's only I think 888 of these. Yeah. Super limited drop. And this is something that I think that like celebrities, once like more and more like actual like well-known celebrities get involved with this platform, we think that they're going to go after these NFTs because he's such a significant person for them. Most people honestly haven't really heard of him, unless you've like, so there's a documentary called LA Originals that's really cool on Netflix where you can learn about him and his history. But most people don't really know him unless you're like familiar with tattoos or with kind of like that whole scene.
It's just going to take one big sale by someone like Snoop Dogg, who's already really tied to the NFT space.
Mm-hmm.
Him bragging about it, playing with it in AR on his Twitter account, and this thing's going to blow up.
Yeah.
Again, it's a bit more speculative, right? Because it's a statue, and it's a bit of he's a bit more unknown out around the world. But
like once it hits like OpenSea, for example,
yeah, and when he has the right exposure, it could be really big.
Yeah.
Because it was sitting around 600 to 700 gems. And Spitz was like, got to get one. And our good friends Nate and
I got to.
Will. Yeah. And I slept on it. And then sure enough, I posted on Twitter. I don't know if it might have been, we might have pumped it by accident. We had a lot of views on that video. I think it was, and then it went to 1,500 gems. Like, shit.
Well, I saw that. I saw your post. And because of you that I'm getting served Eminem videos non-stop. I like hip hop, but like specifically, it's Eminem non-stop.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
I'm having some good throwbacks happening.
Another one that's I think is incredibly undervalued. It's a comic. It's the ultra rare for Marvel Comics #1. I mean, we're looking at the floor for the common right now. I felt this way for a long time. It's sat around 1,000 gems forever. It just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, you're looking at what the UR is 3,000, 2,400 editions, and between that and the secret rare and the physical comics, you have 3,063 total editions of that comic in existence. I mean, that a drop alone on VeVe is pretty scarce, you know. But I mean, the comic's sitting around $200, 200 gems right now, and the ultra rare is around 1,300. When the secret rare gets so far to reach, and I'm talking like 100K plus, that ultra rare is going to fall fast, and it's already significantly lower than when we compare to like Fantastic Four #1, Amazing Spider-Man #1. It's still very far apart from its secret rare.
Yeah.
So it's in my opinion, I think it's very, very undervalued. This is not financial advice, of course, as you all know.
Well acquainted with it, but then again, just like sell. Sean told me.
I was worried that you guys weren't going to use that in this whole live stream. I was like, oh god, they haven't covered themselves.
So we should have done that at the beginning.
I was planning to do it at the end, but I can see myself forgetting that.
Yeah. Now we're coming up to an hour, guys, and I know that we had explained, spoke about doing this for an hour. How are you guys going with time? How's everyone here? Because we might wrap in a couple of minutes if you have.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, let's wrap in. Yeah, like 5ish.
Yeah.
Cool. Neo, Matt, or Sean and Spencer. Anything that we haven't covered that you really want to ask each other? And not if I'm wearing pants. I am wearing pants.
We're all wearing.
And Neo, you also wearing pants? Because I'm not wearing pants.
Good man.
Just socks.
This is a great way to finish.
Everyone just needs to be patient, with this whole space. I know it's crazy because we've shot up so fast, so soon, with this application. And I think if just take a step back and take a deep breath and just be excited about the future. I mean, Apple's coming out with their AR glasses in a year and a half. And that's going to be a game changer. People are going to understand, okay, all these things that people have been talking about for the past year and a half, now I'm seeing it. They're going to come out, and it's going to be huge. I mean, Apple, I think, has come out and said that they believe that their phones are going to be obsolete because of the AR glasses. That's crazy. But that shows the value of where these collectibles will go. It's going to be massive. It's massive. I mean, you're going to be able to, these things that we're getting right now, this metaverse that they're creating, you're going to have an opportunity to rent out a lot of these collectibles, especially the very, very scarce ones, the ones that are incredibly valuable. And you're going to be able to make income off the collectibles you own just every day. Just for people, and it's all automatic. It's written in the smart contracts. You can just do it, and then you just get your collectible back. It's all automatic with zero fear. Like, it's crazy. That's the future, guys.
It is
nuts.
Like our good friend Goldman, big shout out to Goldman, he got this on the drop, the 1985 DeLorean from Back to the Future, and it's ultra rare. Yeah, I mean that is something that's going to be in the museum. I mean that is something that is going to be people are going to pay a premium for that to rent it out,
like rent it out for parties and stuff. Yeah, like that, I
mean, I've talked to Goldman for a while. I mean, he's at almost 70 sets now, or past 70 sets. The guy's incredible. He's been crushing it, and we were so funny. We nerded out. A designer kind of like, I was like, Golden, can we take a photo with it? Because I was just gonna hold the phone up like that, right? He's like, no, get it. He put AR and threw it out there. And we took a group photo together with it. That's my favorite film of all time. Is Back to the Future, and it's like hardcore nerded out over an NFT. I never thought it'd happen.
Well, that was my first purchase. My very first purchase the VeVe art was the DeLorean, and I sold it recently, which is crazy. But I needed the gems. I'll buy it again.
Yeah.
That was totally. It was actually a point where my wife nearly divorced me when she saw that I had purchased a DeLorean. She's like, "It's not even about the money." I'm just judging you right now. Since then, she's on board with the plan. Once I said, this thing could be worth a lot of money," she's like, "Can I sit down and tell me about this?"
Nice. Is she involved in drops and stuff now?
Not in drops, no, because the drops unfortunately happen here at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and we've got kids and a baby. She's still breastfeeding, and so it's like there's no way she's waking up in the middle of the night for a comic book.
But
I'm working on it.
Another night for them.
Neo does. I see it in his face.
We all do. The three
Oh,
of
you
us.
all do. You all do. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, we're like running on what 2 hours sleep right now.
Oh yeah.
You guys got four drops this week. Not much sleep.
Oh no.
Tell.
Yeah.
And it's crushing. It's soul crushing when you don't get it, and then can you be bothered staying up to try it for a rebound? Not likely.
And then even like snipe the open market. It's like.
Well, we're looking forward to the Kiwis, who are the founders of OMI, actually doing some stuff that's on.
I was going to say, I feel like they should have a little more respect for your time.
So I guess before we wrap, last question that I'm actually really keen to ask you guys is, what's your holy grail in terms of the digital collectibles?
Like that we own, or just like in general, like what
that you're on the VeVe app that you're hoping to go for. So either it exists now, like for us, the holy grail is the Donny. For you guys, it can either exist now, or you are hoping it to exist soon.
Yeah, it's like the Marvel Comics one. SR is definitely, like, at least on the comic side, that is the grail. You know,
Yeah, I mean, I think that comic's going to be 200, 300K plus in no time. You know, I mean, I think the commons, you'll see a $500 floor. And I was saying this before it started pumping, that we're probably going to see a $500 floor for these commons in the very near future. And sure enough, here we are at 200. And this is when it was like, I think it was around $50 or $40 when I was talking to people about that. So that was recently. What's your favorite collectible that you own? Like personally and also financially, like two different ones.
Financially? What is that?
You know, like personally, like your favorite collectible that you love personally, like your favorite collectible, and then as an investor, what's your favorite?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. I'm gonna answer your other question too.
Okay. Favorite collectible financially? It's probably, I have an Avengers number 8 secret rare, number like 700 something.
Crazy.
So it's like, 10,000 editions total for the whole thing, and I have like number 700 something secret rare.
Huge.
So yeah, I think that one's gonna be worth a lot one day. So probably never selling that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Favorite. I'm gonna think about that.
We also have a Fantastic Four number 5. Number 5 is a sub 600.
Like sub 600. Yeah. We split this one.
It's a secret rare. So that for me, I was like, I always wanted to own a Fantastic Four 5 comic, and that's just something I've always wanted to own. So we saw an opportunity to get out in the marketplace, and we just sniped it.
Yeah.
That little bit number, man. But for me, I would say, man, I think they go hand in hand. But like two of them that I just like, I have a Fantastic Four number 1, mint number 883 that I got on the open market. That I'm just like, I saw that for 2,500 gems on the marketplace after it dropped, and I was just like, guys, I'm getting this. And I bought a ton of gems like super fast. I knew it was going to be gone. One of my favorite purchases, because I've always wanted to own a Fantastic Four 1 comic too, and I had an opportunity to do that a few years ago, but it fell through, and I just like I carpe diem the share of that sale.
Yeah.
What rarity was it?
It was secret rare. Yeah.
How cool is that?
The mint number is 883, and it's a secret rare. So it's super low.
Yeah, we go for the ultra low mints if we can.
Yeah, it was super funny too because so do you guys know who Henry Pags is? Henry Pags. He's
Mr. Pags.
Mr. Pags. If you ever look at the comic books, go to the marketplace. I guarantee you his name's in the top 5 in every single sale. He has the most incredible comic book collection of low mints. Yeah, it's unreal.
He goes for like the lowest possible that he can get.
Lowest possible mints. And this is how we met. This is part of the story how we met. I posted on the marketplace purely as a flex move, right? They put on, and I saw his for $1 million, and he's like number 715 secret rare. And I saw it, I was like, yeah, I'll match that. Why not? And I put $1 million. I was like, no one's gonna buy it, but I'm like, I just flex move, right? And the next day, I saw it for $5 million, and he's like, when we finally met, he's like, that was you? Yeah, I saw that you do that. I was like, it's that guy. And he put it on for $5 million. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. But like for me, when I heard Walt Disney, when they got Disney and they're going to announce some collectibles, the one thing that came to mind was the Walt Disney Mickey Mouse statue, and I kept talking about that. Like, we have to see that. We have to see that. that would be the first. That would be one of the most valuable collectibles of all time if they do that. And sure enough, they did it in the best way. And that to me, for my mom's a big Disney fan and passed that to me. My love for Disney. So personally, it's one of my favorites. But also, like, I just think the sky's the limit for that collectible. So.
Yeah.
And being a part of that 1901 story as well, with two good friends.
That was cool.
It was magical, man. Like having that account, I took like so many screenshots of my account. Like, I don't remember this day always. But yeah, there's so much cool stuff to come. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say probably the gold R2D2 is probably my the one that like personally that it's just my favorite. Yeah.
Awesome.
Star Wars for me, that was like growing up. That was the best big thing, like bonding thing with my dad. So yeah, that's definitely the one that means the most to me, I think.
Yeah, and just keep in mind too, guys. There's a lot of really cool brands coming up. I mean, they talked about how recently they said they have hundreds of brands now that need to come. They're going to announce hundreds now. They said no, not quite 1,000, but hundreds. They've only announced probably about 50 to 75 brands at most. At most, I don't even think it's past 60. So we have our theories on what's coming out, and you should be very excited.
Well, do you think it's going to be Coca-Cola or Starbucks?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Someone watched Tap's recent video.
Yeah. I'm curious. Like, what's your bet? Do you think it's going to be Coke or?
I could see it for the holidays. I think that makes sense.
I think it makes total sense. Yeah.
With the Bears.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if they give that FA stamp because Coca-Cola has already dropped some NFTs. So I'm curious how they'll go about it. But it could be an FE, like first of the collection.
Yeah.
First edition.
Yeah.
But it'll do very well.
Cool.
Starbucks is cool. But if Pokemon ever does come to this app, man, it's lights out.
Game over.
It's game over. Yeah. Which I mean, if you guys know the back history of the leadership, I'm sure you're very, I'm sure you're very optimistic as we are.
It's highly.
I feel like
that it doesn't come.
If they don't have it, it's going to go down like it's going to be. Yeah, it'll be a nuclear bomb on the whole thing.
There's so much hype. There's just so much hype around it now at this point, especially people who. They're super involved with Pokemon today. Are heavily involved with VeVe. So
Dan Schauble was saying on his stream yesterday, it was like it would look so bad. Like it would just make them look. They would look so stupid
if it comes out on wax or something.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of wax too, but the relationships are too strong with VeVe. Jeremy Padawer has been super involved with the community. I mean, I was just involved in a recent stream with him as well. Such an amazing guy, by the way. That guy's so cool. Such a good person, and I would just be very shocked. I mean, he's not putting all this time and effort into this project for no reason. He's excited about it for sure, but it's more than that. It's definitely deeper. And then the connection with Alfred Kahn, and even to this day, David Yu has the licensing for Pokemon in New Zealand for trading cards to this day.
That's just like it's just so far beyond speculation, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I see Pokemon drops as just a great time to buy. Like what happened in those 5 days when those Disney drops were happening was just Hoover time on the marketplace. And that's
everything else.
That excited me a lot.
You're going to supposed to see a massive dip in the marketplace when that happens. So be prepared for that.
Yeah, that or potentially when MTL goes through as well, the money transfer license, we potentially see a big dump of people try to cash out on some of their collectibles. So that could be a good buying opportunity as well for you guys. Try to more like short-term opportunities. Yeah.
Those are definitely something to keep an eye out for sure. A lot of people are predicting the market to take a pretty decent dip once that happens. How long will it last? I don't think it'll last very long, especially with the OMI to NFT.
Yeah,
when people have the opportunity
to blacks.
Yeah,
there's too much other good.
When people have the opportunity to buy with crypto, like people are paying with cash right now. That's what's crazy about this whole space. I mean, the highest sale was Donny for $70K, so far at least. But there potentially might be a big sale coming as well. I'm involved with a Marvel Comics 1, number 739, secret rare.
Oh, amazing!
I'll be listing that very soon. Yeah, I'm helping the owner sell the NFT.
So, sick. Okay.
Are you guys on the Facebook VeVe Collectibles page?
I'm not on Facebook, but
on Facebook. Okay. I don't know if I'll post it on Twitter, but if you guys, if you are on Facebook, I strongly suggest joining that page. I'm a moderator on that page, and it's just a great community of people and great updates. So,
awesome. Well, absolutely. I think it's worth signing up to Facebook again after 10 years.
For that one reason, for Twitter because of VeVe.
Meta. Meta.
That's right. Meta. Yeah, I should. I've got to buy my Ray-Bans as well before I sign back up. Hey, Sean and Spencer, thanks so much for your time today. It's been just such a dream talking to you guys, and you were everything we hoped you would be. Yeah, you've been super generous with your time and your advice. So basically, any money we make from here, and any money that we lose, it's either because of you, so thumbs up, or it's your fault.
Well, I hope I hope the not financial advice is helpful.
At least we know the pressure's off for you guys.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what it's all about.
We're adults. Yeah, we take responsibility for our actions. Yeah.
As long as you give us credit for it when you guys do well.
That's right. That's right.
But don't include our name if it doesn't go well.
Done. Okay, yeah, done. Well, you'll be there for the Donny reunion. It'll be like Friends in 20.
Bailey's out of jail.
Thanks so much for being part of it. And we're really looking forward to hopefully speaking to you guys again soon.
Likewise.
Thanks so much for having us on.
Thanks,
Great.
guys.
Thanks, fellas.